because I have to do everything around here. I have to shop, cook, clean, and do the laundry. I never get to play.
We're supposed to be a team, right?
No! You're supposed to be the mother, and I'm supposed to be the kid.
This movie had me fooled. When I first saw the original trailer for Riding in Cars with Boys, I thought it was a feel-good, coming-of-age story about family, love, and motherhood. I didn't actually watch it until 5 years later, and let me tell you, this was not the heartwarming story I expected. This was very much a cautionary tale, a story about bad decisions, generational cycles, and a woman who spent her whole life blaming everyone but herself. Instead of taking accountability, she passed down her resentment, leaving her son, Jason, to carry the weight of her mistakes. I have a lot to say about this movie, but before I get too deep into it, it's time to recap. So let's get into it. The movie starts with us meeting our main character, Beverly, and her sister, Janet. They were upstairs in the bathroom, playing with lipstick, and Beverly showed Janet how to kiss a boy properly. Shortly after, Beverly's mom tells her to come down because her father is outside waiting for her. As Beverly leaves, Janet calls after her and asks this question in front of Beverly's mother.
Before you go with Pop.
What?
Why would a guy want to put his tongue in my mouth?
What? A boy puts his tongue in your mouth because he wants you to bite it off. Go!
Now, why was Beverly even worried about such things at her age? This was an opportunity for her mother to have a conversation with both of the girls. But Beverly goes off with her dad to get a Christmas tree. As they're riding in the car, Beverly's dad, Leonard, asked Beverly what she wanted for Christmas. Now, he thought that she wanted something innocent, like a bike. No, homegirl wanted something a little more advanced for all the wrong reasons.
There's this guy, Billy Schnarr, and he's really, really cute. You know who he likes? And you know why he likes her? Because she's got boobs. Oh, Pop, I'm just gonna die if I don't marry Billy Schnarr. I'm gonna die all because Melissa has boobs?
Again, this would have been a good moment to have a serious conversation about boys having confidence and self-respect. Anything. But Leonard abruptly ends the conversation by giving her the books over boys line, which was not enough, especially for Beverly. We jumped forward to the present day. This is where we get narration from Jason, Beverly's son. Beverly's written a memoir, but she needs to do one more thing to get it published, so she enlists Jason to help. Against his will, it seems. You can already tell by his tone that they don't have the best relationship. Plus, he wanted to get this trip over ASAP. As their trip began, Beverly expressed fear that Ray, Jason's dad, wouldn't sign the release form that would allow her to put him in her book. She also read Jason her dedication. Jason wasn't pleased with the fact that she dedicated the book to him.
Don't take this the wrong way, but don't dedicate the book to me. Let's just leave it at that. Just don't, huh?
Jason told Beverly that he had things going on in his life that he was worried about that were more important than her drama with her book. Beverly asked him what those things were, but instead of opening up, he brushed her off out of habit. Jason attempted to think positively about their trip, but Beverly didn't give him the opportunity.
One day can make your life. One day can ruin your life. All life is 4 or 5 big days that change everything.
We go back to a younger Beverly. Now she was a teenager. Beverly and her friends, Faye and Tina, head to a party where Beverly hoped to give a love letter to Sky Barrister, her crush. Faye was against Beverly talking to Sky since he'd shown her many times before that he wasn't interested.
Sky Barrister has had his hands in everything you got. And does he call you once? Bev, you are truly a great person. But someone as conceited as Sky Barrister's never gonna see that. Because all he could see is himself.
This goes right over Beverly's head. Instead of taking Faye's advice, Beverly insists that she wear Faye's dress to get Sky's attention. Faye didn't want to give up her dress, but Beverly basically guilt trips her out of it. They arrive at the party. Beverly quickly spots Sky. Faye sneaks off with her boyfriend, Bobby, and Tina spots her crush, Kevin. Meanwhile, Ray was upstairs, all in these people's bathroom, rambling through things, and for some reason, he took one of these birth control pills. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. Before Beverly could get the courage to walk up to Sky, Tommy, a classmate, came up to her. Child, Tina and Kevin were getting along pretty well. She even seasoned his food for him, and Faye was trying her best to hold on to her innocence. It was a battle though. Tommy gives Beverly a pep talk and she finally gets the courage to approach Sky. He was not interested, didn't even give her an inkling that he was, but still, she gave him her love letter and he read it in front of all of his friends. Embarrassed, she ran upstairs to the bathroom, the same bathroom that Ray was in. Ray tries to escape, but Beverly would let him leave out. They end up talking for a bit, and Ray asked her why she was crying. She told them about Sky and the love letter, and Ray decided to go downstairs and confront him.
Get him! Come on, hit me! Get him! No, hit him!
Child, he willingly allowed himself to get a concussion just to hurt Sky. Well, after that, Bobby, Faye, Beverly, and Ray escape the party and possible beatdowns. They go to a popular makeout spot. Faye and Bobby were getting to know each other really well in the back seat, while Beverly and Ray talked in the front. We learned that Ray's dad was a drunk and had died fishing. He doesn't go to school, and his mother could care less since she believes he's a lost cause. He was pretty much on his own. Beverly decides that she might as well get some sort of action from a guy, so she makes out with him. Shortly after, they get caught by Beverly's dad, and he brings them all into the police station. Faye's parents were not pleased with her and demanded that she stayed away from Beverly. They didn't like Beverly at all. And looking back, they did not hold her accountable for the stuff that she did. And check out this creep.
For God's sake, button up your blouse. Hey.
He should have knocked that dude cold out. This is a child. And worse, it's your co-worker's child. Like, what the hell are you whistling for? Again, this was another opportunity to have a serious talk with Beverly. It was now or never at this point because obviously she was moving in the wrong direction very fast.
All we were doing was making out. And I just met him, and I never go past second base with a guy I just met, which means nothing below the waist. My waist, not his. Oh.
That talk never happens. He takes her home and goes right back to the station. We jump back to present day. Jason makes a stop to make a phone call. He leaves a voicemail to his girlfriend, Amelia. He tells her that he will tell his mom about them and go to wherever she is. He also tells her he loves her as Beverly rudely blows the horn every 2 seconds to rush him out. We go back in time again, and shocker, Beverly is pregnant. Now she has to gather the courage to tell her parents. At least Faye was there to help.
Mom, Pop, I'm pregnant. My daughter's a tramp. My daughter's a tramp. You're 15 years old. How can you do this to me? I wish that you were never born.
This was so funny. And the fact that she imitated Lorraine so well. Listen, Beverly was shook. Beverly tells Ray that she's pregnant, and since Ray didn't have any money to get an abortion, Beverly started thinking about plan B, having the baby. She thought that if her parents could help her with the baby, she could eventually save enough money to move to New York. As she's planning this out loud, Ray gets upset that she's not including him in her decisions, and he tells her he loves her, but she doesn't take him seriously.
Do you love me?
You are not the guy that I'm supposed to end up with. It would derail my life.
Ray insists that he'd make her happy, but honestly, this wasn't convincing at all.
If you married me, I would cherish you for all the time, till death, till I die, till death, I may not be the perfect guy, but I'm the right guy because nobody will love you like me, Bev. Please marry me because I'm shit without you.
Now, things were more serious with Ray, against her will at this point, I guess, but she was still pregnant, and that was still a very big issue. Faye suggests that she fall down the stairs to end her problem. Beverly tried her best, but she couldn't seem to bring herself to do it, so she finally accepted her fate and wrote her parents an elegant letter informing them that she was with child.
I have terrible news I've been withholding from you. But now, like the poison from an adder's tongue, I have to spit it out. I am pregnant.
Her parents read her letter, and of course, they were pissed off, but most of all, disappointed. And Beverly couldn't take disappointing her dad, so she told him that she and Ray were in love and they were getting married, even though that was the last thing she wanted to do. This wedding was tragic. The wedding photo, interesting. And then this moment.
I'll be true to you.
I got it.
In this whole world.
This is a wedding.
Hey, let her finish!
Thanks. I love you, Bobby.
I love you too.
Bobby told Ray that when he returned, he wanted them to start a garage. Ray admitted to him that he didn't even know how he was going to make a living. Mind you, at this point, Beverly was very pregnant. Beverly sat in her chair most of the night. She was upset that no one came up to her to say hi. Plus, her dad didn't even dance with her. It was clear that her family was embarrassed. And this was confirmed with her dad's speech.
There are times in a man's life when there is cause to celebrate.
See?
And finding friends to celebrate with is easy. But then there are times like this.
Faye decided to go up and do her own speech to defend Beverly and make her feel better. She compliments Beverly, wishes her well, and encourages others to come up to her and act like she exists. And then, this mic drop moment.
If y'all think you're so great for being here, then don't bother talking to me either. Because I'm pregnant too.
Beverly was excited that she wouldn't be in misery alone. Faye told Beverly that her parents had wanted her to move to Arizona and put the baby up for adoption, but she instead chose to marry Bobby before he went away to Vietnam and stay in town. While Beverly was excited, Faye was more aware of how they truly were.
We're gonna be pregnant together! And we're both gonna have girls! And they're gonna be just like us!
After their wedding, Ray surprised Beverly with their new place. It wasn't the best, but it was theirs, and Beverly might as well get excited about it because she doesn't have a choice at this point. We fast forward to when Beverly and Faye are a little further along in their pregnancies. As they get ice cream, they run into Tina, who is still in school, living her best baby-free life, getting to experience prom with Kevin. We fast forward again to when Beverly is 2 weeks past her due date. Ray doesn't come home in time to take her to her appointment. He comes home drunk, so Beverly refuses to let him in. He punches the window to get in and injures himself. Beverly was so irritated that she went into labor. She thought that she and Faye would both have girls. Child, that was not the case.
Mr. and Mrs. Hassett, this is one of the most beautiful baby boys I've ever seen.
I didn't have a boy, I had a girl.
No, Bev, we had a boy, don't you remember?
I had a girl. I told Faye we were gonna have girls together and they were gonna grow up and be just like us.
No, we had a boy. So he's gonna grow up and be just like me.
Beverly's transition into motherhood is rough. Jason is treated like a burden from the start, the reason why her dream life became harder to attain, and Ray appears to be the more attentive parent for the time being, even though he had his flaws. Sometime after, Beverly catches up with Faye during a play date. She gave Bobby an ultimatum. If he re-enlisted, she wanted to get a divorce, but turns out he wanted one anyway. As Beverly and Faye talk, Jason tries to get Beverly's attention. She ignores him, per usual, so he gets himself and Amelia off the seesaw. We fast forward to Beverly's big day. She'd be interviewing for a scholarship to attend NYU. She tried to drop Jason off with Ray at work, but Ray wasn't there, so Beverly had to take Jason with her to the interview. She was already stressed that Ray wasn't there to keep Jason, and now that was added on to her being nervous about her interview. Unfortunately, bringing Jason with her didn't leave a good impression. Even though she'd proven that she was capable of juggling motherhood and schoolwork, just the sight of a young mom turned the interviewer off. He let her know then and there that she wouldn't receive the scholarship. Now, Beverly was heartbroken, but as soon as she saw Ray, her hurt turned into anger. At this point, Beverly believed her dream of going to NYU was over. We jump forward to present day. Jason doesn't talk much. It was an uncomfortable silence for Beverly. So Jason decides to tell her that he planned to transfer from NYU to Indiana, but that wasn't a part of Beverly's plan for him.
You have 2 years left, then you'll be finished. And you'll be educated, and you'll be a college graduate, and you'll have the life I always dreamed of.
We go back to Beverly after losing the scholarship. Beverly began working at a local fast food spot. Beverly eventually visits Faye. Faye's mother is still not fond of her. She'd planned to take the kids to the movies to give Faye and Beverly a break, but Beverly bringing Faye lettuce to smoke didn't help things, and neither did this.
I would love to have a moment where we could forgive each other for whatever it is that keeps us from being close. I'm sure you've said awful things about me. And you probably heard me call you Ice Crotch a million times.
Faye, I'm taking Amelia to the movies right now.
Bye, Mommy.
But what about Jason? I assume his mommy will be leaving soon, and I wouldn't want her to leave without him.
Beverly tries to push Jason to go inside, but of course, being the kid that he was, he wanted to stay close to her. Again, Beverly makes it very clear that he's an inconvenience. She was rude to him here.
Right now, Mommy's having a hard time being around you, and I need to talk to Faye about it, so go.
But I don't have anything to do.
Well, use your imagination. Go.
She asks Faye if she loves Amelia. Faye says that she does, but she's unsure if she loves him out of obligation or if she truly loves him. Something happens shortly after to make things clear for her. Jason nearly drowns.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That shouldn't have happened. From now on, I'm gonna be more attentive. I'm a terrible mother.
Yeah.
We fast forward to Jason's birthday party. A surprise guest makes an appearance, Tommy. Beverly didn't recognize him at first. He cleaned up pretty well. They talked for a little bit, and Tommy had just graduated from Berkeley. While he came home to visit, he planned to go back to California soon. There was another surprise guest, Tina. She didn't stay long though. She only stopped by to drop off Jason's present and to say goodbye before she and Kevin left town. She and Kevin were now engaged and moving to New York.
Kevin and I are engaged.
You're pregnant.
Wow. Kevin's been in law school in New York and he couldn't stand being away from me. I want to tell you before you heard it from somebody else. I'm going to college. Kevin's father's some bigwig and he got me into that college in New York.
NYU?
Yeah.
Tina's young, carefree life is a reminder of what could have been for Beverly if she'd made better decisions. Tina played it smart, for sure. Later that night, Tommy came by to talk to Beverly and see if she was okay. They go for a short walk, only steps away from her house. Beverly expressed to Tommy that she couldn't believe this was her life. Tommy suggests that she, Ray, and Jason move to California. He informed her that the state would pay for her education, allowing her to pursue her dream of being a writer. Beverly was unsure that Ray would go for it, though. Seeing another guy possibly flirting with his mom, Jason came outside to interrupt their conversation.
Mom!
Yes?
I woke up and you were gone! She's not supposed to leave a kid alone in a house. It's dangerous. I could have choked.
Night, Bev. Night, Jason.
Beverly asked Ray about moving to California, and he agreed to go. Let's see if they actually make it there, though. The next morning, Beverly received a phone call from her parents telling her to come by immediately and that something was wrong with Ray. Tell me why Ray had been hiding a whole drug problem this entire time. He spent all their bill money on heroin, along with the money they planned to use to go to California. And this is when she should have left with Jason and went to California. This is the second time this man has derailed your plans. This is a very bad habit. Beverly was over his excuses, but her dad insists that Beverly help Ray. He even volunteered to keep Jason while Beverly took care of Ray as he weaned himself off of the drugs. But she didn't want to take his help, so she, Ray, and Jason went home. Beverly, with her stubborn self, had to manage Ray's withdrawals and keep Jason occupied at the same damn time. him. Poor little Tink Tink. And Ray didn't make it a single night. He left the house and got a fix while Beverly was sleeping. When Ray finally returned home, he tried to convince Beverly that all he needed was a small fix and he'd be fine. But at this point, Beverly was completely done, and she finally kicked Ray out.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I'll try.
You say it's impossible to quit. I believe you. I won't even hold it against you. But if you stay and you ruin our lives, then it's my fault.
So Ray goes inside to say goodbye to Jason. Jason shows him his tooth and he says goodnight to him. He planned to leave without telling Jason he was leaving for good, but when Jason asked if he could go, he told him a very warped version of the truth.
Why can't I come?
Because your mom says that she doesn't think it's a good idea if we were around each other anymore. Probably not supposed to say that.
I hated how he put it all on Beverly. He should have definitely taken more accountability, but are we surprised he did this? I mean, let's be for real. But of course, this breaks Jason's heart and he takes all his anger and frustration out on Beverly. We jump forward again to present day. Jason calls Amelia to check in on her. Amelia tells him she loves him too, a response to the message he left earlier. Amelia was already packed since she assumed Jason would have the courage to talk to his mom about moving. But unfortunately, Jason was still beating around the bush.
No. You are not allowed to feel bad about us. I'm not another woman you gotta handle. And someday, if I'm lucky, maybe you'll stop raising her. You've been doing that your whole life.
We go back to after Ray left. Jason was now holding the meanest grudge against Beverly. In his mind, it was all her fault that he'd left. During this time, Lizard, Ray's friend, stopped by. He dropped off a color TV for Jason, not out of the kindness of his heart, but to convince Beverly to let him use her stove to tend to his lettuce business. Beverly refused his offer and the TV, which pissed Jason off. This led to a heated argument where they both tried to one-up each other's struggles, each insisting their own hardships were more important.
Plus, I have to do everything around here. I have to shop, cook, clean, and do the laundry. I never get to play.
We're supposed to be a team, right?
No! You're supposed to be the mother, and I'm supposed to be the kid.
Jason becomes even more angry and spiteful.
Lettuce in Amelia is freezing. I'm not cold.
While Beverly, Lizard, and Faye were inside packaging up lettuce, Beverly's dad pulled up. And Lizard proves to be from the same stock as Ray because he didn't alert the girls. He simply snuck out the back door and left. Before Beverly's dad pulls off, Jason tells him that Beverly and Faye were inside packaging lettuce. So Leonard takes them into the station. At this point, Beverly didn't know how he found out. Faye used all the money they'd earned to bail her out. Faye's brother had bailed her out, but it came at a heavy cost. She had to move to Arizona and not see Beverly anymore. Now Beverly would be completely alone. And to make things worse, after Faye leaves, Jason admits that it was him who told Leonard about the lettuce. We jump back to present day. They'd finally arrived at Ray's place. Ray was now married to someone else. He didn't even recognize Beverly, which was wild. Those drugs must have really fried his brain. Of course, he doesn't recognize Jason. Jason hadn't seen this man since he was a child, and now he had to see him like this. Beverly got down to business pretty quickly. She'd come there to ask him to sign a release form to allow her to mention him in his book. Initially, Ray was willing to sign, but Shirley refused to let him sign unless Beverly gave them money, $100,000 to be exact. And Beverly was pissed.
$100,000.
What? Ray, did I ever ask you for a dime of child support?
Get out.
Naturally, Beverly was upset about Ray not signing the release. This was yet another thing that he managed to mess up for her. She was so consumed in her feelings that she didn't even acknowledge what feelings Jason had due to seeing his dad after all these years and seeing him like that.
You don't care. I'm not gonna get published and you don't even care.
I just saw a guy who hasn't showered in a month, whose teeth are rotting out of his head, and he's my dad.
Turn this into your problem.
Ray comes through in the end, though. He snuck out the house by telling Shirley he was taking out the trash, and he used this moment to talk to Jason for the last time.
Your ma, she sent me a letter saying that what a good man you turned out to be, and I like to think that I had a lot to do with that. Look, even if all I did was stay away, still the best thing I ever did in my life.
He snuck the release form into his pocket as he hugged him. The release form contained his baby tooth that he saved all these years. He also gave him a bit of advice to help him deal with Beverly. He told him that it was in a woman's nature to forgive and help.
Women want to forgive. Even a total screw-up, they want to help. It's in their nature or something. You gotta tell them that you need their help.
Jason and Ray say goodbye for good, and Jason eventually meets up with Beverly. Jason finally admits his complicated feelings towards his mom and his troubled childhood.
No, I was a great mother for what I had to go through to keep you in one piece.
Who says I'm in one piece? Did you know Amelia came to New York 2 weeks ago? She wants me to go back and enroll in her school, but I can't go. I can't leave you, because if something bad happens to you, it's my fault. I'm what went wrong in your life. And here's the funny thing. She thinks I can't love her, and damn it, she's the only good thing in my life. I'm just incredibly screwed up. I blame you.
Beverly finally admits and accepts that she screwed up with Jason, and she sits in her emotions. Jason remembers Ray's advice by asking Beverly for help, and it works. Surprisingly, Beverly agreed to let him be with Amelia and control his own life. But before he left, she told him this.
I want to make something clear. I don't think I would have been better off without you. You are not what went wrong with anything. You were what saved me.
Jason left while Beverly stayed behind and called for a ride, and that ride was her father. When she got in the car, she said this to him, which brought everything full circle.
Jason blames me for every horrible thing that happened in his life. Can you imagine?
I loved how he didn't respond. He just let it marinate, and she finally understood what he'd gone through with her. And this was the end of the movie. And here are my final thoughts. Your decisions hold so much weight, especially when you're young. Looking back, there were so many chances for Beverly to change her path before she got pregnant. Her mother overheard her and Janet talking about kissing boys and did nothing but scold her. Her father shut down conversation completely when she asked for a push-up bra to impress a boy. Nobody sat her down to talk about self-respect, confidence, or relationships, and because of that, Beverly had to figure it out on her own, and she made mistake after mistake. She ignored Faye's advice to leave Sky alone when he clearly wasn't interested. She overlooked Tommy, who actually liked her, because she was too busy chasing after Sky. And when Sky rejected her, she ran straight into Ray's arms. And not because she liked him, but because she felt sorry for him. She made decisions out of desperation and ignorance, not desire. And her parents? They could have stepped in at any point. When her dad caught her at the makeout spot, that should have been a moment for a real conversation. But instead, he just took her home and left it at that. Had her parents actually talked to her, taught her about self-worth, boundaries, and the treatment she should expect from men, she might not have chased Sky after he showed her exactly who he was. She might not have entertained Ray when he clearly wasn't the right choice. But instead, she got pregnant, she couldn't get an abortion, and when Ray admitted that he wasn't the best choice and the relationship would more than likely benefit him more than her, she took that as a reason to keep the baby. She told her parents she was in love with Ray when really she just couldn't face her father's disappointment. She wanted what her parents had, but her choices led her down a completely different road. And Ray? He was nothing but a roadblock. He stood in the way of her getting a scholarship, kept her from moving to California, intentionally worked against her at every turn. And yet she stayed. Way longer than she should have. And I get that divorce wasn't as accepted back then, but after all of those losses, why not? But here's the thing, Beverly was always selfish, and that carried into motherhood. She never considered what Jason wanted or needed. On his birthday as a kid, she gave him a card with her life plan for him as a present. On his 16th birthday, she told him she was writing a book, and that was his gift. She treated him like an inconvenience, a roadblock to her dreams. She spent the entire movie insisting that her struggles were more important than Jason's. She wanted his sympathy while ignoring his feelings. So it's no surprise that their relationship was non-existent. Jason grew up resentful, seeing her as a burden, just like she saw her own father. This movie was a reminder that cycles repeat if we don't break them. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I never caught when I was younger. They had us thinking this was going to be a feel-good film. Child, this was a tragedy in more ways than one. Anyways, thanks for watching this recap. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. As for the next review, of course, it won't be a movie review because it's time for Flavor of Love 2, y'all. This season truly topped the first one in more ways than one. See you next time, you guys. Bye.